The Suffolk County Charter School isn't just abandoned. There's something seriously wrong here. Deep in the swamplands of the Commonwealth, in the far south of Boston, stands a place many players simply overlook. But the closer you get, the more something feels off. A bright pink paste clings to the walls, desks and floors, and the ghouls wandering the area don't look normal. Their skin is discolored, unnatural, almost artificial. What happened here? Why does everything feel like it spiraled completely out of control? Today, we are following that trail and uncovering what's really behind the pink paste. Education is what survives when what has been learned has been forgotten. A motto that sounds good, but as we'll soon find out, education clearly wasn't the priority here. Right in front of the entrance, we see a ghoul with a very unusual skin color. The pink stands out immediately, even from a distance. This is not a normal color for a ghoul, but before we head inside, we'll take a quick look around outside. The school was built in the middle of a swamp, and after the bombs fell, the swamp slowly reclaimed the area. The schoolyard is fenced off, and inside we find more ghouls with that same strange pink coloration. The yard is completely overgrown, but compared to the rest of the Commonwealth, the grass here grows surprisingly well. The gate is open, so it's possible that these ghouls aren't actually the students, but rather feral ghouls that arrive here later. But we can't be certain. Some of these ghouls could actually be former students, now wandering the schoolyard mindlessly, just like they did before the bombs fell. Visually, they are barely distinguishable from pre-war students. Inside this classroom, there's another ghoul, and when you compare its size to the chairs and desks, it could very well be a former student. Not too far away, there's a super mutant behemoth pacing back and forth. It feels strange that he's so close, yet hasn't attacked any of the ghouls here. The bus in front of the school is unusual as well. The writing on it shows it's a school bus, but inside there's a wheelchair with a skull, and right next to it, a spine. The bus driver is still sitting in his seat, even 200 years later. Halloween decorations are still hanging in front of the school. Okay, let's see what awaits us inside. Inside, there are still Halloween decorations and a suspicious number of pink ghouls. The main staircase is completely destroyed, but we'll start by taking a look at the reception area. Right on the counter, there's a tray with some pink food paste. Next to it, there's a terminal with a pink handprint. The terminal doesn't work. It was likely damaged by the paste. There's still candy inside the Halloween pumpkins. Right next to the reception area is the principal's office. The first thing we see here is a ghoul. And while it might seem like this is the principal, that's not the case because we find her skeleton right next to the desk. Or maybe it is her and someone else died next to her desk. Inside the terminal, we find a message from Dr. Gibson to the principal. Principal Hudson, again, I thank you for your school's willingness to participate in the Nutritional Alternative Paste Program, or NAPP for short. You and your students are doing a service to this country by helping us push the limits on our knowledge of food and nutritional science. During the period of this program, nothing but NAPP should be served to the students. No outside food should be tolerated on school grounds. We will be sending scientists periodically to observe reactions to the NAPP and ensure proper testing conditions. Non-compliance will result in funds being revoked, so please make sure your faculty and students remain obedient. Dr. Jerry Gibson. So, the pink paste we see everywhere is actually part of a government program the school agreed to participate in. The principal approved the project in exchange for financial support, making the entire experiment possible. However, that funding would be withdrawn if the program wasn't followed strictly. On the desk, there's also a holotape with an announcement for the school.
Good morning, teachers and students. It is another great week here at Suffolk County Charter School. I hope everyone is getting their costumes together for the annual Halloween festival. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that no outside food is to be brought on campus as of this week. This goes for faculty as well as students. We have received generous donations for our implementation of the Nutrition Alternative Paste Program. We owe our benefactors strict adherence to the rules they have set forth. Thank you for your attention. This is Principal Hudson signing off.
We are now in the classroom of Mr. Smith, the school's English teacher. On the floor, the desks, the chalkboard, and even the ceiling, there is pink paste. This stuff is everywhere. In his terminal, we find a message addressed to the principal. However, the message was never sent. Principal Hudson, I'm sorry to ask, but Where has the integrity of the school gone? Forcing all teachers and students to consume nothing but flavorless pink goo is inhumane and demoralizing. Food is an avenue of socialization for our students, growing minds, and they are becoming restless because of the paste. If nothing else, I am sure you have noticed the increasing number of visits to our office due to misbehavior. Also, I could almost swear everyone seems a little bit pinker after a week of eating the stuff. Please, I ask that we terminate this mistake of an experiment and find alternative funding opportunities for the school. Mr. Smith, English Department. So it seems the school staff was fully aware of the experiment. However, the paste didn't just affect the students' behavior. Their skin also appeared to have gradually turned pink. A development that should have been deeply concerning. However, the message was never sent, and Principal Hudson never had the chance to respond. Next, we'll take a look at the atrium. In the center of the room, the floor has collapsed, leaving a hole that now reaches all the way down to the basement. Throughout the atrium, pink paste is spread everywhere. It seems the program's rules were strictly followed. Only the pink paste was ever served. More pink ghouls can be found here as well. Along one wall, there are pipes that were used to distribute the paste. The funding must have been substantial, because an entire pipe system was installed throughout the school just to make serving the paste easier. And right next door, we make a rather disturbing discovery. This room is filled with barrels and buckets of pink paste. But what's strange is that the paste appears to have been mixed here and then distributed throughout the entire school via the pipe system. The paste must have been extremely thick, as a meat grinder was used to process it. The whole setup is disgusting and clearly very unhygienic, as you can see from the conditions here. Back in the atrium, there's also a vending machine filled with pink milk. But before we move on, there's another holotape here with an additional announcement.
Good morning, teachers and students. It is a fabulous Wednesday here at Suffolk County Charter School. The Glee Club is having their seasonal bake sale today, so stop by and show your support so we can send our team to the regionals. Remember, actual baked goods are forbidden on school grounds, so they will be selling colorful cups for your food paste. Oh, also, we will be having a school assembly during second period tomorrow on the dangers of strangers by Jangles, the moon monkey himself. Once again, we would like to thank our benefactors from the NAPP program for allowing us to have such a big star come and speak to you kids. We owe our benefactors strict adherence to the rules they have set forth. This is Principal Hudson, signing off. Have a great day.
Principal Hudson clearly stopped at nothing to enforce this program. What's also questionable is where all the funding actually went, because the school's equipment looks completely ordinary. In the school library, we find a magazine of the Unstoppables, and right next to it, the final holotape.
There we go.
Friday all. The NAPP program launched this week with success, but not without problems. I hate to have to throw away your mother's carefully packed lunches, but I am afraid we must put our foot down on this issue. I am assured all of you will get used to the flavor of the paste. Also, I have been informed that flavor varieties will be on their way pending continued success of the program. How exciting! To those complaining, I will repeat. There are absolutely no psychological or physical side effects from participation in the NAPP. Any observed effect is assuredly psychosomatic and possibly related to a lack of trust in the government. Remember, our participation in the NAPP not only helps our school, but in the long run benefits our nation. Thank you for your attention. This is Principal Hudson, signing off.
It appears she even disposed of the students' regular food. Principal Hudson ruled with an iron fist, all to keep this program running. So, what really happened here? Were these ghouls once the students of this school? There are far too many of them for it to be a coincidence, and their size, their appearance, it all lines up. Maybe they never left this place. Maybe they are still wandering these halls, just not the way they used to. And then there's the funding, because whatever money this school received, it clearly didn't go into improving it. The equipment is basic, the conditions are poor, so where did all of it go? Did Principal Hudson take it for herself? Or was something else going on behind the scenes? And what about the program itself? Was this really just about food? Or was it something more? A controlled experiment, testing long-term effects on the human body, on behavior, on mutation? Because if that's the case, then this wasn't just unethical, it was forced. The students didn't choose this. They didn't even understand what was happening to them. They were part of something much bigger, without ever knowing it. And in the end, all that remains is a school frozen in time, covered in pink paste, and filled with the consequences of an experiment that went too far. But what do you think? Were these ghouls really the former students? And what was the true purpose behind the pink paste? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Fallout's hidden stories, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more waiting to be uncovered.